What's going on, Cowboys Nation? What's going on, Stargate affiliates? How's everybody going?
Let's go.
How's everybody doing tonight? So looking for a group. LOL. I don't know what's good. My guy Mendoza is in the building. What's going on? Episode 3, I had to catch a little bit late. I was working a little bit late. Had to run back, watch episode 3 of Hard Knocks tonight. So the show was a little bit later than usual. You feel me? No, let's effing go, my guy. Not looking for group, but I appreciate it though, Keith. Neither here nor there. So episode 3 is in the books, guys. You know, Hard Knocks. Some storylines, if you will, they've continued down to follow. Something that we talked about, early on, that they would look at fringe guys, really push them, get your heart pumping about them to see what happens with them. We're going to get into that a little bit tonight with a little bit of Cowboys royalty, as Dak called him. The card guy, from great grandfather all the way down. So we'll talk a little bit about about Cowboys royalty, as Dak talks about tonight. And then, of course, towards the end, Danucci, we kind of knew what happened. Saw some reaction, whatever. And some things in between. For me personally, few things that stuck out throughout the entire episode. We'll kind of go back through and break down some other things. Comments are welcome. Questions are welcomed. By all means, make sure y'all throw them up there. Keep the chat live. I'm getting them up there. Before we get started, y'all see it on the bottom. Star Gang Podcast on YouTube. Make sure y'all go over there, hit that sub, hit that bell. Also, your guy Nick's over there on Twitter. Make sure you go follow me on Twitter as well. My guy Stu's in the building. What's going on, Stu? How many more grad schools you need to go to? Shout out to you, though, my brother. With that being said, oh, Keith, man, he stole my opening bit right there. Man, the opening shot in Frisco. Man, give the guy who flew the drone a raise. My goodness, how good was that opening shot tonight? Jesus. Forget everything else we're going to talk about. We'll talk about a little bit of the camera work, if you will, and flying down throughout the Star in Frisco, getting inside and whatever. That was an amazing shot tonight, leading into things for sure. I was all about it. My guy Keith stole the thunder there as I was leading into it. But overall, let me get a couple of things out of the way. Loved Coop working with Lamb, right? Just showing different things, releases, right, whatnot. Loved that from him. Obviously Lamb was the rookie last year. We have Parsons this year. They are the future. We saw some nice interaction of those guys together during their practice. They're the future, if you will. You like seeing that. And D-Law, man, D-Law on the sideline of during the game versus the Texans, really on Kamara and coaching him up and doing things. You want to see that from your leader. Loved that aspect of what I got to see, from him, coaching him up and talking on the sidelines and what happened. But now let's get back to the very beginning and let's go from there, right? They doubled down again because if we kind of go all the way back to episode 1, they put old Isaac in our number 60, number 1 in your hearts, number 1 on your what do they call them, a program, if you will. It was I want the cake, I want to eat the cake. We kind of got a little bit of that. Episode 2 in Arizona, they pumped him up again, right? They kind of did some things there. And then we got to episode 3. They highlighted the family. We saw a lot of the family reaction in the stands. They're doing the pancake count, right? He had 3 pancakes during the game. So obviously pushing him and highlighting him. Obviously the running back Hardy, right? Now we got the push on him, right? The glasses and the contacts, the 1-and-1, what's going on. Even the last interception that Danucci throw, they highlighted him with the F-bomb, and what's happening there. So we're kind of getting around to the point where as these cuts are going to happen, they're cutting down the fringe guys that we talked about out the gate. They're going to highlight some of these fringe guys, man. Man, I'll be honest with you. The name is hard to pronounce, and they cut one guy. That's it. They cut one guy today because of all the things that are going on with the COVID protocol. They'll release one guy. Man, I'm telling you, I don't think anybody, maybe somebody in the chat, Mendoza, I bet can drop the name for me. Mendoza can definitely drop the name for me. Super mod for the Star Game group. I saw it earlier. It is what it is. My guy Mark Henderson in the building. What's going on? Thank you for showing up. So only one got cut today, but back to the episode. Jerry, we kind of talked about they would highlight Jerry at moments. Jerry kind of got some highlight tonight, right? And things that you were talking about, and we kind of saw some things there with him. Not surprising there. Had to circle back, get old Steven. Funny times to be had. He loves that helicopter, man. Man, does he love that helicopter. There you go. That's it. Yeah, the kicker. That's whatever his name is. I just can't pronounce, like, weird name he's done. And of course, and the thing about that is Greg the Leg is kicking in Jacksonville. He's off the pup list. He's ready to go in Jacksonville. He'll kick during the game coming up this weekend. So there's that. So obviously a couple of fringe guys. We saw those highlights. Isaac, Hardy did those things. I thought it was very cool for me that they went and grabbed a guy. And personally, for me, as much as I follow the Cowboys, I didn't know a whole lot about this guy in general, and that's Jonathan Jackson, right? And as Dex said, that's Cowboys royalty, and them highlighting, the fact that it's the family business for them. His great grandfather, his grandfather, his dad, all the way to him, have worked basically in the mailroom and whatnot for the Cowboys. Obviously, that kind of boiled down to a game of spades. What's going on? Rock and Move the Change. What's going on? Appreciate you tuning in. And then that kind of, apparently it kicked him off the squad for Zeke. And the other thing that I love about Micah Parsons in general, this kind of goes back to the OTAs, right? So he was playing, chess, if you will, with Cooper. And the story is, we saw some of the videos, right, where, Cooper got him, he got him once, and the stat line is Cooper 7, Micah Parsons 1. Wherever they got to camp in Oxnard, he brought checkers. He brought Connect 4, He brought Connect 4. He's like, he might have got me in chess, but he ain't going to beat me in Connect 4. You're seeing the competitive nature of what Micah Parsons is. So then you saw, last episode, right? You saw him at Ben DiNucci playing chess at that point. And then today, as we're talking about Cowboys royalty, right, as I just mentioned, we see he's in the mix on spades. And it just speaks to Micah Parsons, and he just wants to be in the mix. If it's competitive, he wants to be in the mix. And you just kind of love that about a guy that's very competitive that way and wants to compete. Whether it's on the field, a card game, Connect 4, chess, whatever. Like, he's in the mix. He wants to compete. He had a great tweet today as well, because somebody had tweeted his highlights from high school about being a running back. And he said, yeah, and he quote tweeted it, and he was like, yeah, I'm the 5th running back on the roster right now in Dallas, and then at Zeke, you think I can make it? He's just that kind of guy that's competitive, and I think that permeates. I think that kind of stuff and whatnot permeates throughout the defense. It'll permeate throughout the locker room. I just, those are things that you'd like to see, not just from your rookies, but from guys in general. What's going on, Jesse? Man, I appreciate you tuning in. And of course, Dak is the kid to take that L to Cowboys royalty. He threw him down. He's like, you got rid of me, right? And Jonathan Jackson said, don't call me down here to play no more, Dak. It is what it is. Bam. But what I also love about that is Dak was, even before they got to that point, talking to other people, it's like, that's Cowboys royalty. That seems small, right? Let's look at that for a second. Mailroom guy. Yeah, his family, great granddad, grandfather, dad, him, mailroom, whatever. Dak took the time to point it out to other people in the building that might not know, like, hey, this guy's history within this organization matters. He's done things here. And you know what? And that's what, it's small, but leadership wise and pointing out those things, I think matters a ton. And I don't know if, every, quarterback anywhere is doing those kind of things. So I definitely dug that from Dak from that standpoint to point it out. Obviously, he shouldn't have kicked him off his squad because my guy showed back up and said, bam, and hit him them last two and got him, which was great, man, which is great in general. What's going on, James, man? Appreciate you as always for tuning in. Mike McCarthy, not happy, right? So let's kind of fast forward to the game and what happened and talk about different things. I also saw, different highlights of what was happening. Before I get there, Cowboys royalty. And he talks about the mail. CeeDee Lamb, Dak Prescott, most fan mail out of everybody for what it's worth. For what it's worth. Man, my guys at the bill, what's going on? Look, what's good, man? So a little behind the scenes. I mean, big shock. Dak was in the shock. Lamb number 2, interesting, right? But fast forward to the game and what we were seeing from the guys, what was happening between, halftime coming out, looking at, and for me personally, I'm focusing on Mike McCarthy. Obviously, going into the game, they had to pivot because Dan Quinn had to go back to the protocol, so he was going to call, so they'd be on the fly. Things happen. You could tell the disappointment. I mean, man, I think Mike McCarthy was not very happy, right? Pretty easy to say with the 3 interceptions that Ben DiNucci did in the third quarter, or the second half, I should say. And, even after the game, he kind of pointed out things like, we can't have these things happen. We can't do this. We did it last year. Hammering home things about last year, even though, a lot of people want to say it's the COVID year. Dak was gone. It's a throwaway year, right? We heard a lot of that. It's a throwaway year. But I like the fact that McCarthy was coaching up, like, these things happened last year. We're not going to do that shit this year. And, man, I definitely loved what happened there. Acknowledge him, that part. Boom. There it is right there. Yeah, bruh. DiNucci, I always said he was never going to be the backup. He was always, to me anyways. And the Cowboys were going to carry 2 quarterbacks, and DiNucci for me was always going to be at the practice squad. That's kind of what I felt. Now, the biggest thing about this game that just happened, right, is Gilbert had an opportunity to step through the door. Didn't. Cooper Rush did. Rush is practicing with the ones currently, and he gets the opportunity in Jacksonville to start. And if you listen to 105.3, Jerry Jones did not acknowledge Gilbert. He just talked about Rush. Sounds like Jerry Jones is kind of through with Gilbert. For me personally, I think the backup's not on the team currently. We'll watch the waiver wire. We'll see what happens, and we'll kind of move on from there. The other thing for me, I guess, coming from episode 3, guys, is anybody that's worried about Dak shouldn't be worried. I think we saw enough movement within the clips, times of throwing, how they talked about the injury and the shoulder, and really it's not really even the shoulder, right? It's kind of it's more of a baseball kind of injury. Dak's going to be ready to rock week 1. So I think if anybody is really concerned, about Dak week 1, I think you can put that to bed. You can go back to his pregame in Dallas versus the Texans. He threw the ball over 50 times. You can see him doing this thing with it, working his hips. You can see the ankle moving. I know there's been some fodder out there like, well, it's not really the shoulder. They're really more worried about the ankle. Maybe there's a setback on the ankle. I think that's nothing to be worried about. I think he's ready to rock. Now we can agree to disagree if you want to, as it pertains to how they approached it. If you think he needed to play, a couple of steps and knock off the rust, or you hide him and wait and play it close to the vest till you get to Tampa. I mean, that's fair game. Chicken, egg, whatever came first. It's just kind of that conversation. But they've chose to bubble wrap. We'll go to Tampa, and we'll go from there. Obviously, for me, I look at Hardy, right, and they showed him the 1-1. He made it up. I got 1 contact in, 1 contact out. And it was funny as we were doing the live stream with my guy Sid during the game, and I was like, man, I love the fact he had the goggles on. Just rock the goggles, man. Don't worry about it. Not going to make the team. This is strictly for drama. They highlighted him, want to get you invested in him. Great story. But we already know, those that are tuned in, he's a practice squad guy. That's where he's going to be at, which is fine for him. But he's not making this team. I'm intrigued about Isaac Alarcon. I am intrigued somewhat because obviously he came from Mexico as a tackle last year. He was 290 pounds or 295. He's beefed up, but they're playing him more so at guard. And he's, he's shown a lot of improvement. So I wonder if he's on the fringe of an opportunity. And look, and that's their job. They give us a guy that's not going to be here. Here's a guy that maybe could make it. So we're getting invested in that. I thought they would highlight Simi Foku a little bit more. However, Simi, terrible game last week, just hasn't done enough. I believe at the end of the day, Noah Brown and Cedric Wilson have solidified 4 and 5. If they carry 6, I don't know if it's going to be Simi anyways, even though it was a 5th round pick. So they're not going to highlight him, at this moment for those reasons. There it is. And Jim said the other night, more time with the practice squad. That's where it's at. They're highlighting those 2 guys. One's out of here. One's got a chance, but I'm not sure if Isaac makes it either. I do think the Connor Williams experiment at center, backup center, I should say, I think that's over. I think that's a wrap. We actually saw him practice today. Fernaku from Nebraska got bumped up to second. The late round, I think was he 7th or 6th? I think it was 7th round draft pick, maybe 6th. Anyways, Nebraska kid was taking the second team reps and moving on from there. So I think that's kind of where we are with the backup center position now. Again, pay attention to the waiver wire. We'll see what happens. Man, I love the highlight of Jerry. Let's kind of get to the highlight of Jerry and being in his moment and how he's been talking to people and whatnot. And man, this offseason in general, don't forget just Hard Knocks. We'll go back to opening Oxnard and everything else. Man, Jerry's been a little bit more spicy, hasn't he? Just a little bit more, he was a 105.3 and he was talking about drinking and, his he had another family member was like, well, your uncle, he died from drinking. So, well, my uncle was 90. And she said, yeah, but it finally caught up to him. He's like, well, damn it, if I make it till 90, then so be it. We go back to the Hall of Fame game, right? And he's on the broadcast with Jimmy. We're going to put him in the Ring of Honor. And he was crying at the opening ceremonies at Oxnard a little bit and that press conference, and he was crying and getting choked up or whatever. Man, I tell you, what's going on, Jock, in the building? I'm telling you, man. Jay a little bit more spicy this year and a little bit more active than we've seen him in years past. My guy Mark in the building says, hope that the defensive end doesn't get thin. Williams will be the next man up. Well, let's pump the brakes. Because of this multiple thing and what they're doing, you can have Micah Parsons at end, right? You got D-Lock coming back to end. You got Brandon Gregory coming at end. We've seen Dorrance Armstrong be good at end. We've seen Bradley Anah flash in these games at end. So yeah, for sure, you would like Basham to be healthy. Obviously, you would like for our guy Chauncey, who got drafted from Iowa in the 3rd round, to be contributing. But you look at the sums, be damned. Get those guys out of here. Let's look at the sum that is here. I think you're kind of okay at defensive end, man. Boom. My guy Jock says, I love the swag. I'm going to get that swag that CD and Parson has. Yeah, one of the things I talked about at the top for you got in here, Jock, I was like, these guys are the future. 2nd-year rookie, and you see how they were interacting on the sideline during practice and talking back and forth. You got to get excited about that and how they're moving. And again, Dex the guy. Right. I mean, and Zeke and whatever. But these young guys and how they are, that energizes the team to a certain extent. And be able to see those kind of things happen, absolutely, I'm with you. As I spoke on earlier, I loved it to death. Uh, Boom. My guy Dean says, I don't care what people say. Jerry Jones is the GOAT. Hey, man. Jerry's polarizing. He's more polarizing than Jalen Smith. Don't shoot me, guys. He's done it his way. They were showing the Nike clips, right? And whatever, and all the things that he's done. Um, yeah, man. I've never been a Jerry hater personally. Wanted to do better for sure. I do believe that Jerry always wants to win. That's always the conundrum. It's a brand over winning. And I tell a lot of people a lot of times, and this is kind of in my stance, I think it's always about winning. They just want to win their way. Now, we can definitely argue, is that conducive? Is that the right way? We're, almost 3 decades removed, if you will, from a Super Bowl. But I don't think you'd ever say that there wasn't about winning. But the way that they want to go about winning is maybe not conducive to that at times. You know what I mean? Crazy. All facts. The only thing posed about Jalen are the glasses. Oh, come on, man. I'm not gonna go that far. Great death. I got him at the third or fourth linebacker currently. But either way, I mean, it's great depth. I mean, we look at last year to this year, guys, and we look at the linebackers and what we have. Man, the depth is phenomenal, right? Depth is phenomenal. I do find it funny as we're speaking about Jalen, how polarizing he has been on social media and different people talking about him left and right, that HBO has not really zoned in and captured, what's going on with him being entrenched in what's going on. However, we do have to remember the Cowboys do have that editing ability to say, no, we're not doing that. And this might be something that the Cowboys like, look, we're not doing the Jalen story. Y'all can't run with that. Do something else. And that could be, why we're not getting more Jalen and what's going on at said linebacker position, right? It could be those things. Oh my God, Jock in here. I mean, when you're the most valuable franchise, I understand that for sure. But again, I do think they want to win. I think Mike McCarthy and Dan Quinn will turn this team a new leaf. Well, I mean, and I've said this before, right? Long-time listeners, y'all already know, or watchers, I should say. I said it before during free agency. The biggest free agent that we got this year was Dan Quinn. Period. Now, I've changed my motto a little bit because I thought he was brought in here not only to fix the defense, but he was brought in here to fix Jalen and LVE to a certain extent. Now, I think he put them in their proper positions. And I'll say this again. I've said this a ton over the past couple of weeks. LVE quietly is having a great training camp and has been very good in preseason. Jalen has been a mixed bag. Now, Arizona wasn't great. He had some good plays, some bad plays. Although the Texans game, I think Jalen played actually pretty damn good. But they've added more to the mix. And we haven't talked about Jabril Cox. And another thing that HBO, to me, is missing out on is Jabril Cox. From every single preseason game, from the Steelers to the Cardinals to the Texans, he has jumped leaps and bounds every single game. The biggest knock about him was his tackling. And we have watched that just tremendously get better. And I told a lot of people when it came to this was that it's not that it's not a lack of will. He's a willing tackler, not good at it. See, if you're a willing tackler, we can coach that up. If you don't want to tackle, I can't coach the effort, right? But if you look at the tape, in college, it wasn't that he wasn't a willing tackler. He needed technique coaching. And man, I tell you, we watched these 3 preseason games, and especially this Texas game, boy, he was on fire. You got to love what you're seeing from Cox in that growth. I was a guy that thought that this is a redshirt year for Cox. I would like to get him in coverage situations, maybe in a big nickel or whatever, possibly. But, we'll see him come back through next year. I'll tell you what, these 3 preseason games, I mean, Steelers game was not good. But the last 2, man, it's going to be very hard to not carve out some kind of role for Cox moving forward. Now, we still got the Jacksonville game. We'll see what happens. But, I mean, I'll tell you what, Cox has really, taken the opportunity and walked through that door and done some positive things for him to make you feel really great about him being a fourth-round pick. And when they talk about him being a steal of the draft, you're kind of seeing those things right now. My guy Jock took in said, LB Room is deep. Yeah, absolutely it's deep. Super deep. Deeper than it's been in years. I mean, forget years, way deeper than what we saw last year. I mean, those are facts. Those are super facts. My guy, what's going on, Ronnie? Thank you for tuning back in, man. Says I was always been high on Jabril Cox. What I haven't been high on, those trying to put him at safety. No, I definitely agree there. I said he wouldn't be a good safety. He could be a great linebacker in time. No, and I definitely agree there. I definitely agree there with you, Ronnie. I've kind of had this discussion with different people, some different, my boy, I did a show with Boss Cowboy talking about this as well. Safety, get it out of here. I think it's that new age linebacker that you need, just like I was big on JOK out of Notre Dame. I was big on Isaiah Simmons last year. We're looking and seeing Parsons this year. These are the new age linebackers that you need. The game has changed. You don't need these big burly guys to stop the run and this. It's changed. You got to have guys that can cover and tackle. That's what you got to have. I'm not saying that it's almost like you need a little bit lighter, strong safety at linebacker now to a certain extent. I was never about Jabril going back there and being a safety. He's a linebacker. I completely agree with you there, Ronnie. And I like what we're seeing from him growing so far. I think he's just that new age, what you want. I mean, Neil, former safety, made the transition to linebacker, right? Will linebacker. That's what we're looking at, weak side. If you don't know what Will means, weak side linebacker. And if you go back to his snaps of last year in Atlanta, man, he played over 40. I think it was like 42, 43% of the snaps. He played at linebacker. This is the game now. This is how it evolved. This is how it changed. And the things I love about Dan Quinn, he's never been a big blitzer. But this preseason, my goodness, guys, we are seeing a ton of blitzes. Now, I get it. It's preseason. I hope this transfers over to the regular season because we have been here before, right? If we're being honest, Cowboys Nation, if we're being honest, we have seen us be a little blitz happy or whatever during preseason. We get to the regular season and then, we're just sitting back, bend, don't break. Oh, my God, no pressure. We're 5-10 yards off the wide receivers with the corners and whatnot. And, man, it's like, well, what happened? This is not the game we were playing in preseason. So I hope this thing does transfer over with Quinn and what he's running so far. I'd like to see that because I think the biggest thing is when you're doing these kind of blitzes, you got to get home. Well, to get home, you got to be fast. And for me, this is the fastest defense I've seen in years for the Cowboys. This defense is a different speed now. So when we see people talk about Jalen at times being slow or a little gipped or whatever, I think it's for the simple fact of the speed of the team around him has jumped up a couple of notches from where it's been. And we're like, oh, it's noticeable now. It's a little different now. Beforehand, it was maybe a little bit masked, if you will. But the team speed in general, obviously, Michael Parsons runs a 4.39, a legitimate 4.39. He's a 5-star running back coming out of high school when he went to Penn State. That's how he got recruited. But, man, the speed of this defense, when you take a Neil from safety and put him at linebacker, the speed of this defense has definitely triggered and went to another level. And look, and something that's been needed for a while here in Dallas. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. My guy named Mitchell says, BJ, Neil Parsons and Cox, I think will eventually be the best linebacker group in the league. Well, Brian Baldinger, by the way, and if you don't follow him on Twitter, he does a lot of he does the hashtag Baldy breakdowns. And I do post him on the Stargame page and share him to the group. His last one that he did, I think it was yesterday. Big praise from Baldy. Big praise, former NFL player, the whole nine. And man, I tell you what, he said that he believes that Micah Parsons will be the most versatile defensive player this year in the league. Pause. He didn't say rookie. He said the most versatile defensive player in the league this year. And I was like, whoo, hold on, y'all. Hold on. Boy, those are the things that get me excited. Not just what we're seeing, but we're looking at guys that are not particularly fans of the team. They are, indifferent. They're just looking at film and whatnot, and you're seeing what's happening, and they start talking like that. Man, it's time to get excited a little bit. It's time to get excited a little bit. And for me, man, I just, take him lining up, literally no defensive player in front of him. And he's lining up over the center. He takes on the center and guard, gets through and all the way and be clear. Tyrod Taylor's not slow. He's not a slug. He's fleet of foot, if you will. It was on his ass. It made him get up out there and get that ball up out of there. Man, that's special stuff, man. The special stuff. I said this after the Hall of Fame game. I said, man, I think Micah Parsons is going to be the best defensive player we've drafted since DeMarcus Ware. I do. And no disrespect. Byron Jones is great. But look, no disrespect to even D-Law. He's been great. But I really do feel that way. And look, and I was a guy, if y'all watched our draft coverage, I was the guy that was out on Parsons, low key. I was out on Parsons, not for the player. I wasn't worried about the player on the field. I was like, man, I don't know. There's some weird stuff off field. I don't know what's going on over there. We know how local Dallas media is. The light shines brighter here in Dallas, if you will. And I'm like, I don't know if they're going to be able to let that go. They're going to be like dogs that attack it. So for me, I had him off the board just for the simple fact of what happened off the field and how Dallas media would receive him. I own that. Now, once the draft happened, and I said it then, I said, I can't blame Stephen Jones. You picked up an extra third-round pick, moved back 2 spots, and got arguably the best defensive player in the draft. 3 preseason games in. Now, we've seen some things, and to be clear, we've seen some things from Patrick Surtain already, who's done well. But, man, outside of Surtain and Parsons, looks like you hit a home run. It's just one of those things. And Baldy also made this point as well, and I want to double down on this point with him. It seems like Dan Quinn is taking Micah Parsons and building the defense around him. How smart is that? If he's the guy on defense that could be the ultimate outlook, Weapon X, guys, and for all my X-Men fans out there, okay, my Marvel people, you dig, all that. Man, he is Weapon X. Over the center with nobody in front of him, watch him do work. Off the edge, watch him do work. Linebacker blitzing, watch him do it. Linebacker dropping back in coverage. Whatever you want to do, we're going to make this defense work around what his skills are. And, man, that's super exciting, man. It's to have a defensive coordinator here now that'll do those things, because the defense before now has been very vanilla. If we're being honest, it's been very vanilla. What's going on, Norton? Mr. # fix the damn defenses in the building. Yeah, man. Yeah, Weapon X, man. That's what he is, bro. I'm telling you. That's just, the different things that what he brings to the table. But, that's Parsons and what he's doing. Imagine what's going to happen when he gets to play a whole game. Man, he might go nuts down there in Tampa. I can't wait. But back to Hard Knocks, and that's what we're talking about tonight, guys. Hard Knocks episode 3. Tell me what you liked. Tell me what you didn't like in the comments section. What you like about Hard Knocks episode 3? What y'all didn't like about Hard Knocks episode 3? Obviously, off the top, as my guy and me talked about early on when we first got here, was, man, what a great shot for that drone all the way through, flying around, doing those things, setting it up, making it lovely. You're seeing Dak interact and the things that he did. You love that. Obviously, they're highlighting Isaac Alarcon as the international player. They've done it every single episode. They kind of turned their focus a little bit more over there to Hardy, the running back. We've seen that tonight. And we saw look, and man, and again, we saw pissed off McCarthy after the game. Not happy. McCarthy was not happy when they got into that locker room. And I like the fact that he brought it up. He even brought back what happened last year. Can't do it. We did it last year. We can't do it this year. So I definitely loved, and of course, Cowboys royalty. And I got, I said the best at what he does, and what he does isn't very nice. Mendoza said for the people in the back, brother. Say it for the people in the back. I got Marcus. He said, I like how they did the drone through. Oh, yeah, exactly. Marcus, I was just talking about that, man. That thing was fire. Fire. My God, David. So it says a few times, Parsons will be our centerpiece. Next draft, we're probably going DN linebacker, O-line. I don't know about linebacker because you got to look at that boy Cox. I think there's a chance that Neal comes back here, but we're way, way, way too ahead. No, let's enjoy this year, man. Let's not worry about the draft right now. Let's enjoy this year. Don't get too far ahead of yourself, my guy. Don't do that. Chill. Oh, man. Like I said, no, stop trading the players. We need depth. Yeah, absolutely. We definitely need some depth. Let me kind of scroll up here. Boom, 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 boom. Oh, Jock says Parsons is Devin White with more speed and bigger. I mean, facts are facts. Facts are facts. I wouldn't trade anybody. Yeah, I mean, I'm not trading. Well, Smith, you can't trade the contract anyways, or they'll just cut him. LV's not going to go anywhere because you're going to lose a comp pick. He's on the last year of his deal. Same thing for Gallup. You wouldn't trade Gallup because you lose the comp pick. So there's 2 comp picks right away with Gallup and LVE. It's not going to happen. Now, let's talk about tradable pieces, though. If you do want to discuss tradable pieces, guys, I was kind of the mindset that, man, you know what? Anthony Brown's maybe a tradable piece, but man, I don't think I don't think Kelvin Joseph's done enough to make him a tradable piece, if you will. I don't think that Nahshon Wright, who isn't playing that side, he's technically the backup to Diggs, so there's no way for him to push Brown out over that way. Now, I do like what Canada's done. I think maybe he should actually be the starter at slot. But so far, that's Jordan Lewis. And, of course, you just paid Jordan Lewis. He's not going anywhere. So Anthony Brown, to me, would be the only tradable cornerback. But he's kind of just played his part, been quiet, done his thing. I think he's your starter. There's nothing there at D&D fits tackle that you can trade. You're not trading no linebacker. Now, I would say no. If the Chargers want to give up on, Jarwin, the safety, I'll send him LV. But that's not going to happen. That's not going to happen. So if we go back to the opposite side of the ball, I mean, you could say you're not going to trade Connor Williams because, again, we're going back to comp picks, right? You just let him play, let him roll, and that's that. So Connor McGovern's your tradable piece. Okay, well, who's going to be your backup guard at that point? That's tough. So, to me, if we're talking about a tradable piece that the Cowboys have at any level, to me would be either Noah Brown or Cedric Wilson. Now, what could you give for them? Now, I don't know. But those are your 2 to me, the 2 tradable pieces for the Cowboys currently are Cedric Wilson and Noah Brown, who are both, if I'm not mistaken, I think they're both in the last year of their deals. So, boom. There's that. And, maybe you get a little offensive line depth if you're looking for that. Maybe a backup center, something along those lines, and move on from there. But I think the only 2 tradable pieces, Cedric Wilson, Noah Brown. Yeah, Derwin James for LV. Look, here's the thing. Both been banged up. Both are in the 4th year. I don't think either one of them got. I mean, I know LV didn't. I think Derwin got his 5th year picked up either. Trade them straight up and move on. But I mean, I don't think that's going to happen. I would love it. I would love Derwin James to come on through. I mean, Darren Woodson jumped out there and said, if I had to say any safety in this league that reminds me of me is Derwin James. Say less, fam. Say less. Yeah, absolutely. I've said that very early on. I've not gotten off that. I would send LVE dead ass right over there for Derwin James if they wanted to do it. It's not going to happen. But, man, hey, Jock, we can dream, brother. We can dream. We can dream. What are your odds of Reggie Davis making this team? 0. 0, Devin. He's not making the team. He's not making the team. If they carry 6, they're going to protect the draft pick, Simi Fioku, or they're going to take Malik Turner. That's how I feel about the 6th wide receiver spot is where we're at there. Top 5 is good to go, and we go from there. Boom. Nobody going to trade for Noah said. If they do, it'll be a 6-7 pick. No, again, I'm not talking about a big trade. Don't get me wrong here, Ronnie. I'm not talking about a big trade, but you might be able to get a backup center, is what I'm saying. Like, these guys aren't scrubs. They got pelts in the game. Again, you're not going to get I'm not talking about you get a first, second, third, fourth. None of that. But if they got what you have to look at when you're getting up against the wall, right, and you're going to let some things go, is hey, man, we kind of need this. We need a slot receiver. Cedric Wilson is a great slot in this league. Let's be clear. Has the potential to be a great slot. I don't want to say he's a great slot currently. He has the potential to be a great slot in this league and give you a little bit more. We know what Noah Brown is in this league, and he's still young. So you could procure a backup center if you need, or you could procure maybe a little bit more defensive tackle depth if you need. Again, not this huge, you're going to get this big name trade. What I'm saying is you can solidify some things on your team that you feel uncomfortable about. I mean, my goodness, swing tackle guys, man, it's rough with one of those two guys, you know. Jock with the says MG's replacement. I'm not going to get that far down the line right now. I don't even go that far. We'll let the year play out and go from there. I know Robbie Anderson over there got a 2-year, $29 million extension, basically $15 million a year. And I saw a lot of people. That's where MG is going to start at. Blah 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 blah. But I mean, again, man, we haven't played week 1. I just don't want to get that far ahead of myself currently. I just want to see here where we're at right now. Look at the squad. You know, we're in the episode 3 now of Hard Knocks. We're just a smidge over 2 weeks away from being in Tampa. I want to sit here. We'll let that kind of stuff kind of play itself out as the year goes along, right? That's kind of where I want to be. Yeah, I don't agree with this either, Ronnie. We got to wait and see what happens with the cuts. Things could be available. It's kind of why I had a tweet and I said, I'm not worried about the backup quarterback position at all. And I came and did a live a couple of nights ago, and I'm like, I think they will upgrade the backup quarterback position. But on the same token, I don't care who they go get. There's nobody they can go get. If Dak's gone for the entire season, the season's a wrap. Doesn't matter. So, yeah, on top of just not backup quarterback, what's about backup center, or, if you want to look for a swing tackle or maybe a little bit more defensive tackle depth as Gallimore is healing, yeah, there's some things that can happen for sure. And you can swing some trades without the cuts. Oh, this guy's going to get cut. Well, let me send you this conditional 6th or 7th and move on from there. Those things can definitely happen there for sure. My guy Norton says 85% of Jason Garrett guys are on notice. If not, man, Jason Garrett guys were here last year. Man, we're 2 years removed from Jason Garrett. I just don't want to get into those kind of things, to be honest with you. I appreciate you though. Picking back off Dak. Yeah, I mean, absolutely. I mean, if Dak's gone, kiss the baby. I don't care if it's Dalton, Jimmy G, Gardner Minshew, everybody's baby, Nick Foles. I mean, name your guy. I mean, I don't care who y'all name. I mean, y'all can name whoever y'all want to. That's maybe plausible as us getting a backup quarterback in here. If that goes down, I mean, we can just go and kiss the baby on the season. That's just, this is where we're at. Sure. Do you want a guy to come in here if Dak has to miss 4 to 6 weeks and can hold the ship down? Absolutely. I agree with that. Is that guy on the roster right now? I don't think so. And I do believe that the Cowboys are going to look to try to upgrade that before the season. But let's sit back and wait. I also thought they would add a veteran cornerback before the draft. They didn't. Hence why they went and took, Kelvin Joseph at 44 and went with Nashawn Wright in the 3rd round. So here we are. You know, I mean, those are just kind of the things that we have to look at. Trubisky's not. Look, hold on, Nick. I'm not mad at Trubisky. I wouldn't be mad at Trubisky as a backup, but I don't think the Bills are going to get rid of him, though. You're going to keep. I mean, look, they're keeping Trubisky or Jake from State Farm. They're going to keep Trubisky. Look, for my money, Arizona. We saw our backup in Arizona, as far as I'm concerned. I want Tim Tebow from the Southwest, 15, started with the S, whatever his name is, that ran the ball and threw the ball on us. Go get him as the backup. I think he's better than any backup that we have in Dallas right now. Tim Tebow, Southwest Tim Tebow. Go get him. Number 15, he was down there doing his thing, man. He's down there doing his thing. Oh, was here. Y'all agree? Yeah, I mean, and here's the science, right? Here's the science to it. You don't have 32 starters, legitimate starters in this league, guys. We just don't. Like, there's not 32 teams that love who's starting for them at quarterback. I mean, somebody's going to start for the Eagles. Is it going to be Jalen Hurts or washed up Flacco? They don't know. Right? You possibly have Andy Dalton starting for the Bears when it should be Justin Fields. The Broncos could have had Justin Fields. Instead, they're trying to figure out they're going to go with Drew Lock or Teddy Bridgewater. The Saints, Drew Brees retired. So they're like, well, are we going to rock with Jameis Winston or the Swiss Army knife guy? I forgot his name. Y'all forgive me. Forgive me, whatever his name is. Tyson. Oh, damn, what's his name? I can see him running around and doing anything from BYU. He got hurt, blah, 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 blah. It was him. Last year in Miami, Tua couldn't stay on the field. They put him for Fitzpatrick. They put Tua back. Now it's Tua's time. Go to Washington football team. Well, is it Fitzpatrick or some other guy? I mean, my goodness. I mean, we kind of go around the league, right? I mean, Jared Goff took his team to the Super Bowl, and they said, you know what? You suck. We're getting you out of here for a quarterback that's never won a playoff game. I mean, make it make sense in Matthew Stafford. So again, when you don't have 32 guys to go around to start in this league that is solidified, man, it's just very, very hard to say, man, we can get a backup in here that can really get us over the hump. And I just think a lot of Cowboys Nation is missing that point. Now, I got the pushback on that, well, a lot of quarterbacks just don't play every single game and da-da-da-da. I mean, real quick, before last year, how many games did Dak miss? Somebody fill me in. Yeah, none. So I'm buying Dak and I'm selling the backup. Hey, there was a large contingency of Cowboys fans last year that said Andy Dalton would get us over the hump and was better than Dak. And we saw how that played out. So, oh, hold on. My God. Taysom Hill. Thank you, Norton. Taysom Hill. Jock also. Taysom Hill. Thank you, guys. Appreciate y'all. There we, oh, yeah. Mendoza. There he is. Southwest Tebow from Arizona. It's my guy. It's my guy. I like what he brought to the table, man. I definitely do. Let me get through some of these other comments real quick, man. Yeah, I know. Yeah, Dallas ain't gonna play him. Yeah, no doubt. And look, and the Bears can't cut Foles for the money. The only guy that can save money is Andy Dalton, and it says in $2.5 million. That's why I'm just like, do the right thing. Keep Foles as your backup. Start Justin Fields. Cut Dalton and put Dalton right back here on this squad. His home's here. He knows the offense. He would be the best backup possible we could probably go get and move on. Now, see, Marcus, see, now you test something else. Now you test something else there. Phillip Rivers has already came out and said he'll play for the right situation. And see, that's the break the glass in the case of the emergency. If you lose your quarterback for the year, and let's say Dallas is in contention and we lose Dak for the year, then you would call up a Phillip Rivers and move on from there. Yes. But he's not going to sign to come here just to be the backup. That's the in general thing. So you do have that guy on the backside. What the Cowboys have to do and figure out between now and week one, is it Cooper Rush or is it somebody else? Because after Jerry on 105.3 The Fan today wouldn't even say Garrett Gilbert's name I think it's about all we need to know. But yeah, but yes, Church, they have reported that. On the same token, there's been some reports that it's also not a foregone conclusion. So we'll just have to kind of wait and see. We will have to kind of wait and see when it comes to that. But again, final cuts will come down. We'll figure it out. We'll see what's happening. I don't like what happened to Gilbert, though. I will say this. Gilbert's second possession, 2nd and 9, ran the ball. 3rd and 8, ran the ball, and then get on the field again. I'm not really sure how much of a fair shake Gilbert got in that game. He got 2 drives. Now, obviously, right, first drive, got to step up, got to deliver the ball. You can't fumble. Facts. Second drive, though, not sure. But neither here nor there. He should have did more to do what he needs to do. Rush has walked through that door. So, and of course, Rush has history with Kellen Moore. They played together. Obviously, Moore's coaching, so on and so forth. We know how this league is. You rub me, I rub you. We know each other, so on and so forth. Gilbert's had multiple opportunities to walk through that door and clinch this backup spot, and he hasn't done it. So here we are. And now we got Rush taking the first team snaps, and it's probably going to start against Jacksonville. Now, is it going to be enough for you to feel good going into the season? I think a lot of people will say no, but we'll pay attention to who gets cut, and then we'll move on from there, man. But Marcus, here's the thing. Rush has been good before in preseason. The problem for Rush is he doesn't have an NFL arm velocity-wise. Just pay attention. When he has to throw it out and stuff like that, man, that ball takes forever to get there. So in preseason, against backups, slower people, whatever, he'll do fine. Hey, remember when Rico Gathers was here? Man, Rush would hit Rico Gathers all the time. Looked alive, but it never transcended or never, spilled over to anything else outside of preseason games. Again, I think Rush is a very smart guy. But arm-wise, it's not there. Now, do we think he get us over the hump for 2 or 3 games? That's the question that has to be asked. If the answer is yes, then roll with him. If not, then you better find somebody else. But, that's something to be added, and we'll have to look. And for all those that said that preseason doesn't matter, ladies and gentlemen, Deb sure matters to the backup quarterback position right now, doesn't it? Definitely matters to the backup position. Oh, yeah, exactly. 30 yards. It's a struggle. It's a struggle. It's a struggle. So you can't just sign any free agent quarterback, expect him to come in and be a guy like Cooper Rush. It takes an offseason, blah, 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 blah. Well, again, if Andy Dalton walks through that door, who are you taking? Jimmy G. If they decide to roll with Trey Lance, then get out the money they owe Jimmy G. Are you taking Jimmy G or Cooper Rush? It's those kind of things that you have to look at and decide what's better and move on. We have to remember, Cooper Rush was the backup quarterback here for years and never did much. Man, come on, bro. Yep, new alarm. Russell, but we have to understand that. Knowing the offense, I understand that. But the offense can be tailored at any point in time. It's not really that serious. It's really not. He can figure it out pretty quickly, I promise you. And they can learn because Dex is going to be on the field. So there's that. But with that being said, man, hey, I definitely enjoyed Hard Knocks episode 3. I enjoyed talking with y'all about some things outside of episode 3. Obviously, we'll definitely be coming back in. I'm on a show. My guy Space Cowboy has got a show Friday night. It's going to be me, Tuck, and Rome, all with Space Cowboy. Friday night, I think it's 7:30. I think it's 7:30. But pay attention on Twitter or on Facebook. We'll definitely update on that. Should be a fun time and definitely talk about some of these preseason predictions, amongst other things, and rock with y'all as always. Man, before I get out of here, shameless plug. On the bottom of the screen, y'all see it. Stargate Podcast on YouTube. Top of dib, sub, and bell. Your guy Nix _ Twitter. Come holler at me. Follow me. Appreciate y'all. And man, have a good night. Go Cowboys.